Hey, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome. So, welcome to Let's Talk About It. Real talk, real God, and real healing. For those of y'all who don't know who I am Erica Marie. And some of y'all who know me personally, you can just call me Erica. So, as y'all can tell, I have an issue with my throat. My voice been trying to go out. And every time this happens, my voice not only tries to go out, but my sinuses mess up at the same time. It never fails. So I'm at football practice in the car because I've been looking forward to this. I wasn't sick 3 days ago, but then when it got closer to me going live, guess what? All of a sudden, I got issues with my voice. All of a sudden, I can barely breathe. All of a sudden, I'm drinking tea. All of a sudden, I'm drinking more water than I probably ever drink in a long time. So, I know this is the way that anytime I try to, or I step in the deep end, this is the way that I get attacked. My voice goes out, sinuses get messed up. And normally in the past, I would just be like, you know what? I'm going to just reschedule as I feel better. But then so many people miss out on what God put in me, right? And so I'm just telling y'all this little introduction, get y'all going. Make sure you say hey in the comments. Prayerfully, my connection is going pretty well. I keep getting this message of slow connection. So hopefully don't just come on and just be looking, because we're going to be here for a minute talking about this topic. So I do want to see y'all interacting into the comments. All right. Oh, they got the firefighter people. Somebody that got hurt on the field, y'all. I know it ain't my baby because the baby just came and he would have said something. But anyhow, how y'all doing? Today is Wednesday. It's midweek Wednesday. How your Wednesday been going? I can see y'all comments, so make sure y'all commenting. Talk back. This is not me just talking. Just talk back. When I talk, you talk, okay? But how y'all Wednesday going so far? How's everything going with life? Right? Life be lifing. This summer, life has been lifing, especially with these kids being at home. And no, to say what we're talking about, we're going to get into the topic, but I want to get to where you guys start coming in, whoever getting notifications, and shout out to the replay squad, whoever. Oh, I know y'all can hear that. It sounds horrible. Whoever is watching the replay or whoever is watching the reel, shout out to the reel squad. Thank you so much. Make sure y'all share and like and comment. Even if the live is over, make sure that, if y'all got questions or y'all agree, post the comments on there. I talk back. I may not be on social media like that because I got life, okay? Like the rest of us, we busy. But make sure you guys are actually commenting and engaging and talking, because one thing I've noticed is that people will wait until they either see you in person to tell you how you bless them, or they just won't say nothing at all. And they'll just sit there and listen, but they will never comment. They'll never engage. And this is where you should be engaging. This is a season where you guys, it's imperative, not you guys, but all of us, it's imperative that we take healing seriously and we move forward in that healing. Now, I can't tell y'all my voice is a little bit better, but it's still there. So I want to see y'all in the comments, commenting and saying hey. If you say hey, I'm going to say hey back. all those things. I know I haven't been live in a long time. It's been a long time. But make sure y'all respond. Make sure y'all engage. And give me 1 second, y'all. Because I see them pulling out the gurney. Somebody must have really got hurt. All right. So we're going to go ahead and start. And we're going to pray first before we start. Father God, I just want to thank you right now. Thank you for giving me the strength to come on live. Thank you for each and every person that's going to interact with the live and the replay, God. May this bless them. May it encourage them to move forward in their healing process or even start the healing process. May they become more aware of where they're actually at in their healing process as well. God, we love you and we adore you. And we magnify your name in Jesus' name. Amen. So that's all we got. All right. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about what healing really looks like. Okay. So I know y'all been seeing the posts and all those things. Healing, we go into that valley and that journey where we go in very naive. We go in thinking like, oh, I'm going to be healed from this breakup and then I'm going to be good. But our mindsets never change on what we thought was healing was really bondage. What we thought was breakthrough, what we thought was helping us, what we thought in order to get over this, we had to do this. It was really damaging us more and hindering us more. So I'll use me for an example, right? Because this is a ceiling where healing and deliverance is necessary. This ain't playing no more. One thing I've noticed is that a lot of leaders, we're all talking about the same thing. We're all going through our own healing, and then we're all talking about healing and deliverance and how it's so important. Why? Because so many people are missing what God has for them because they don't want to face. Sometimes we think healing is, I will never have to face nothing. God just gonna do it, and I don't have to face my Goliath. But David had to face Goliath. David had to eventually face Saul. We all have to face the enemy. We all have to face our enemies at some point given time. If you don't, then you will continue to carry on that baggage into your next season. How long are we going to carry on these baggages of insecurity and doubt and fear and low self-esteem and unworthiness? How long are we going to carry these things and miss out on what God really has for us? You know, yesterday I started, was it yesterday? Maybe yesterday, 2 days ago. I started fasting from a certain time to a certain time. Nothing to eat, just water. And God reminded me yesterday, God had reminded me of how good he's been. Not just how good he's been, but he reminded me that he's the same guy he was when he started moving even more in my life, the more I wanted to get to know him on a surface level. And so yesterday I had to praise him because it brought me into remembrance of the baggage that I was actually carrying in those seasons. When he blessed me in those seasons, when I was standing on land, not only when I was standing on land, but when I decided to get 3 feet in. And it made me realize if I keep walking and I keep going and I keep going and just trusting him in this journey, I couldn't imagine what he did then. I could not imagine what he'll do now in the deep end. Like, my mind cannot even phantom what he will do in the deep end if I continue it. And the only way I can get to the deep end is if I let go. You ever started swimming and somebody say, let me get on your back? And then you think you can carry it? And then all of a sudden, when y'all get to a certain level, you start sinking and they ain't sinking, but you start sinking. Or have you ever been the person that's trying to help somebody get over their fear of being in the deep end of the water, like 8 feet or 10 feet, and you know how to swim? And then you like, come on, just get on my back. I got you. Just get on my back. And then they get so fearful. They get so in their head that they get to the point to where when y'all get to like 7 feet, now they panicking. Now they panicking. Have you ever been trying to save somebody? And what's the first thing they say at the lifeguard? Like, don't panic. The first thing the lifeguard tell you is don't panic. Why? Because you're liable to drown me and you. So yesterday he made me realize, like, there was a lot of baggage things that I had to let go of to even swim in the deep end. Otherwise, I would drown. Now, he would never let me drown, but the water definitely would have been coming all the way up to the chin because weight would have been holding me down. So I ask you, what does healing really look like for you? And you can type in the comments what healing really looks like for you. For some of you, healing may look like isolation. And I know some people like, you can't heal in isolation. Yes, you can. Because if God calls you to himself and says, I need you to come off of this, I need you, if he calls you to himself, you're going to be in isolation because you and God got some things to work out. Just you and God. And sometimes that's the scariest part because we're so consumed with the world and so much noise around us that in our minds, in our head, we're like, no. And then people who not used to going in isolation when God says so will come up against it. God didn't tell you to go to isolation. God didn't tell you to do that. That's the enemy tell you to do that. Nah, his word said he sets you apart. No, sometimes you are in isolation because that's the only way that you'll hear him. Come on, somebody. I know. I'm finna drink some water right now. And I know some of y'all may be a slow connection or it may be dragging a little bit. Still type in the comments. Because I know. But sometimes, I just want you to know, sometimes the isolation is actually God just telling you, come here. Come to me. Draw yourself unto me. Draw near unto me so that I could talk to you without all the noise, without all the chaos, without all the worries, without all of those things. Come to me. Some of you may be going through where you went through your isolation season and now you're like, okay, I'm in a community. It kind of feels weird and uncomfortable. And you're like, I don't know how to deal with this. Like, how am I still supposed to be healing? But you got me in the community. It's because it's unfamiliar. And whoever's attached or in that community, you're supposed to be talking to. They're supposed to be the vessel. They're supposed to be the conduit to help you move along in your journey of healing. Some of y'all still in denial. Some of y'all are still in denial that you even need healing. Some of y'all are like, nah, I'm healed from that. But let that person walk in the room. Your whole face turned up. Your whole insides get disturbed. Your emotions get out of whack and out of control. And you may not say nothing out your mouth. But your mind will say a lot without you speaking. Sometimes silence is the biggest answer. Some of you may just be scared to face that Goliath. I'm going to try not to talk so hard because normally I would be going in, y'all. But I know if I go in, my voice is going to go out, okay? But some of y'all, you just don't want to face it. You ain't in denial that you need to go through healing. You're not in denial that you need to go to therapy. You're not in denial that God wants to do more in your life. You're not. You just don't want to face it. You just don't. You're like, nah, I don't want to do it because the remembrance, your mind, and I hope y'all catching it. I hope y'all catching what I'm putting down. But your mind remembers the hurt and the pain that was caused in every scar and every wound you have. And you don't want to feel that pain anymore. Or you don't want to revisit that anymore because maybe you actually went down a road of numbing your pain. I know sometimes we think that when it comes to addiction, everybody is addicted to a substance or alcohol. That's not true. Some people are people pleasing and addicted and codependent. Some people are addicted to sex and masturbation. So you never know what a person is addicted to. Some people just got a very addictive personality. But you just don't want to face it because those addictions actually came from you numbing your pain from the hurt that you dealt with, from the wound that you still licking. And God's like, can we go through this? Can we go through this? Oh. Y'all, let me tell you, I'm burning up in this car. I just want to pause real quick. Because I am burning up. That's number one. And I know that this is all coming out. I got the windows down and everything. The child, it ain't working. But we're going to do this work today. I'm not finna cut off early. I'm not, unless God says, all right, that's enough. I'm not doing that. Because somebody who's going to watch the replay of this, somebody who's going to watch a 1-minute clip reel of this is going to bless you to know that you're not alone. So let me use me for an example. What does healing really look like for me, right? I know in this season, healing looks a few different ways. Now, first, when God gave me this topic, I was like, oh, that's easy. It's self-care, right? Because I'm learning how to love myself again and put myself first and making sure I'm taking care of me before I start taking care of everybody else, right? And so I was like, oh, that's easy. God said it's easy, huh? Until he started bringing up other situations. And he was like, how you going to be in denial about that? And I was like, well, I mean, I didn't think we was talking about that right now. He's like, no, that's surface level. Self-care is surface level. Self-care is necessary. Self-care is needed. And if you don't take care of yourself, for those of y'all who are having a hard time with taking care of yourself and putting yourself first, and some of y'all who may struggle with feeling like you're being selfish because you're putting yourself first, I just want you to know you're not being selfish. God put things in order. If you're not married, it goes God, you, kids, and then everything else. And it is necessary for you to take care of yourself, because here's the thing. If you don't take care of you, how you going to take care of somebody else? And that's another video for another time. But I'm just saying, for those of y'all who having a problem with self-care. So God just started to show me, like, that's surface-minded, Erica. Let's go a little deeper. So I said, okay. He said, what about this marriage? I said, ooh, wait a minute. That ain't what he was like, no. Because you are still not healed from the divorce. Why? Because in your heart, it's a mind and then it's a heart thing. In your heart, you feel like, but I found my person. But that person couldn't give you the love that you could give them because they didn't love themselves. And you having a hard time with accepting that that person is who they is, and they're going to continue to be who they are until they decide to change. But you can't get stuck here. I said, okay. He said, so first, healing looks like for you in this season that you need to forgive yourself for making a decision to get a divorce that was the best decision that you made for you and your children. I said, okay. I said, well, why do I feel this? I feel all of these feelings inside where I still love them. I can't say that I don't love them, because I still do. But I also am not willing to put my life on hold to wait for somebody to decide whether or not they want what God put in front of them. I can't wait on a person to decide whether they want this or not, because that should have been decided before we got here, right? So I said, okay. So God had to show me, he said, first you have to forgive yourself. That's the number one step. Forgive yourself for making that decision. And forgive yourself that you still love him. Just because y'all got divorced does not mean your love cut off. It does not mean that you no longer love a person. That's the same with your parents, your kids, all because there is strife or whatever. You still love them. You may love them from a distance, but you still love them, right? So I was like, okay. He said the second thing in this season of healing, you need to accept people for who they are. Because you have a gift to seeing people's potential and actually seeing people's who they can become. You get stuck right there. And we cannot move forward if we're just stuck on people's potential. If we're just stuck on who they can become, especially if they don't want it. Oh, y'all. And then the third thing God told me, he said, you have to be 100% honest with yourself and your emotions, because the way you feel is okay. There's nothing wrong with the way that you're feeling about this particular wound and this situation. But you have to be 100% honest with yourself. that this is how you feel. It sucks because then it brings your insecurities up of feeling like, well, if that wasn't my person, if that wasn't the person, then I don't even know if I'm going to ever find that person. Like, I ain't getting no younger guy. I'm not in a rush either, but, and all these questions get to popping up. And you're just like, but why do it feel like it's endless? It's because you're looking at what the world presents to you. And you looking like, it ain't even no batch. I just don't want to do it. Cause it ain't even, it's just not there, right? But then he's like, but you never pay attention to what I present to you. So somewhere along the line, you feel as if you are still unworthy. And that's where we're looking at, is your unworthiness. So in this season, your healing is stepping into the fact that you are worthy because I called you worthy. I said, okay, God. He said, so now we can get to the root of it. And the root of all of that is unworthiness. What you want, Al? Huh? Okay, what do you want? Because it's the next time you get back to the car.
Trey, because I didn't help them because they're moving to this part of the area. Because I didn't help him pack up the chair, he said I can't sit.
Tell Trey that he can. Hold on, y'all. I got a mom real quick. Tell Trey that you can sit in a chair, or y'all can bring the chair back and put it in there. Y'all can sit on the grass. Also, who went to the thing?
Oh, when I don't play.
What? Like bad? Oh, from a taco?
I don't know.
Oh wow. I pray that he's okay. Where is he out? Tell Trey what I said. Sorry, y'all, I had the mom real quick. Told y'all. I'm at football practice. So where was I going? Where was I at? Okay, so my healing in this season looks like addressing the fact that I feel unworthy. Right? I still feel an unworthiness. And I know God has called me worthy. I know that in his time, it will be the right timing, right? But it makes me feel unworthy. Then it makes me look at the pattern of my choices in relationships, that every time it looked like it was good, it got snatched away from me. So even in that unworthiness and the enemy trying to steal something from me, I'm still holding on to something that's God's like, just let it go. I want you to let it go. And don't no longer hold on to it, because that's not who you are. Right? I called you worthy. I called you mine. So if you are mine, you belong to me. So I said, okay. All right, Jesus, we can do this. He's like, yeah, you can. Because I called and chose you. So I said, no problem. If you don't address and get to the root of healing, don't. Okay, let me back up. I'm going too fast. Let me back up. One, if you're just starting out your healing journey, or if you've been on it for a minute, don't go into this next season being naive and thinking you are healed. See, some of us, we like to say, oh, I'm triggered a lot. Like that's been a big word, triggered. The reason why you're still getting triggered is because you're not healed. I get triggered when disorganization is chaos. Why? Because I haven't been healed from the chaos that I went through in my life and the disorganization. And I'm very organized, but it irks my nerve when organizations and things are not organized and it's disorganized or it's a bunch of chaos. But I have to learn how to give those things grace because nobody's perfect. Now, sometimes it is me helping because some people on here, y'all may say, well, maybe that's God's way of showing you that you're the solution to the disorganization. It is. In some cases, not all the cases, okay? But in some cases, God does show me, like, because you're the solution. And once God clarifies, like, you're the solution, that's why this is messing with you. And it's going to keep messing with you until you figure that out. And then once I figure that out, it no longer bothers me, right? Healing is the same way. Whatever's triggering you, it's because God's tapping on it. Whatever is bothering you still, or you're just like, I just don't want to revisit that. Some of us really was hurt and really went through trauma. Like us millennials, were growing up in the 90s, we really went through some stuff. And now we parents. Can y'all believe that? I can't believe it, but can you believe it, right? And sometimes it pains us to go back because we really did, we survived. We were taught how to survive. We was never taught how to be healed. We were never taught how to forgive somebody. We were never taught how to move forward. There's a lot of things we were not taught in our growing up. Now, that's not no excuse because once we become adults, it's our responsibility to take care of us. It's our responsibility to actually, get us together. That's us. And some of us, because we may have went through molestation, we may have went through some things that we just don't want to go through that again. We may have went through physical abuse or emotional abuse or some really trying times. And we may just not want to, and that's okay. This is not to push you. I just don't want nobody to go in naive because I went in to my healing when I first started this journey back in 2018. It all started off with the pastor I was up under telling us to go home and pray and ask God for a vision if God hasn't given us a vision. And asking for clarity. And when God gave me that vision, sorry y'all, look, my nose is running and everything. Look at this. And when God gave me that vision, guess what? Not only did he give me the vision, but he gave me clarity, but that brought up a lot of trauma. It was like opening up a Pandora's box that I never wanted to open up. I started having nightmares and being attacked, and spiritual warfare was coming on strong. And all I knew was to say Jesus at that time because I was still at the beginning of my journey of just studying the word. Hold on, y'all. And at the same time, I had stopped because I couldn't take it anymore. And it wasn't just the spiritual side. It was also the physical side because the people that I had been abused by and all of those things, they were still actively in my life. And so I just couldn't. And I remember telling God, like, I just can't do it. And then I got into a ministry where I could just put on a mask. And it was the Mind Ministry. dancing is freedom. Singing is freedom for me. So I got into the mind ministry, and that was my place of hiding. That was my place of hiding because I really didn't want to face my Goliaths. I didn't want to face the fears. I didn't want to admit that what happened to me really happened to me because I had never admitted, and I never admitted it, and I never told anybody. But I never forgot either. I never forgot. And so when God brings that up, I was just like, no. It wasn't until I went through my isolation season that I started to address it. It wasn't until I went through the isolation season. It wasn't until I actually told somebody that I thought I could trust. It wasn't until then that those I had to unpack and take out each thing from that Pandora box and then go through each box individually. And now we're to the root of the things. Now we're at the insecurities. Now we're at the unworthiness. And me walking in knowing that I am worthy because God said so. Not because Erica said so, but because God said so. Because He said so. So I want to hear from y'all. I don't even know if y'all are on because nobody has commenting. But I'm going to just take this moment. And I already activated a Q&A. But I want to take this moment to actually hear from y'all. And hear from you as in, what does healing look like for you? What is that looking like for you? What is that actually look like? I'm sorry, y'all. I have to check something. But what does healing look like for you in this season? What does that look like? Sometimes we're not aware of what that looks like. Sometimes we don't know what that looks like because maybe we're not trying to be healed. Maybe we just want God to do what He said He would do. And it doesn't mean that He won't do what He said He will do. It just means that you may be hindered in some way. You may stunt your growth because you don't want to face your Goliaths. Because you don't want to face the fears. You don't want to face the doubts. You don't want to face the insecurities. I am literally working on in my unworthiness that if I don't get married again, God is still enough. That Christ is enough. That's a part of me being worthy, is that He is enough. No matter whether I get married again or not, but He is enough. And sometimes even in healing, we feel like He's not enough. Even as a believer. I know somebody probably get on sanctified. Jesus is always enough. Girl, bye. We have all been there where we felt like this is just not enough. But it's because we haven't embraced that He is our portion no matter what. No matter what our life look like. Jesus is our portion. Jesus Christ is our gift from God. Period. Anything else he does is a bonus. Anything else he does is a bonus. So when you're going through it and it looks like you don't know, it looks like I don't know what's going to happen. It looks like I'm not for sure. It looks like you may not come through on the other side. When it looks like uncertainty, if you remember in your mind and allow for God to change your mindset, and He is enough no matter what. I'm scared. I'm afraid. I don't want to face the rejection. I don't want to face the abandonment wounds. I don't want to face feeling like I'm alone. I don't want to face the agony of being alone. But then always remember that I am never alone. Because God is always there. He's always in the room. He's always around. He's all omnipresent. Holding on to that and knowing that if He does nothing else, He has done enough. And I am worthy of His love, regardless of what man tries to tell me. I am worthy of His love. Now, if you don't catch it, I'll catch it for myself. I'm going to just tell you right now, because I know what I'm saying right now is for me. Regardless of what man says, I know that I am enough. I know that I am worthy of God's love. And I know that because it's in His word. I know that because He proves it every time. Every time. Not just providing for me and my family, but also covering and keeping us. With my mess and all of that, God still holds me up. He still holds me in the palm of my hands. In the palm of His hands, I'm sorry. In the palm of His hands. He is still who He was in all those other seasons. He is still the same God today, yesterday, and forevermore. He is still the same God that we read in Old Testament and New Testament. He is still the same God to us as He was to the Israelites. He is still the same God to us as He was to the disciples. He is still the same. He doesn't change. And if I could let go of what man ever tried to tell me about me, try to tell me how I wasn't worthy, try to tell me I was going to be somebody's baby mama and have a bunch of kids. Now, I do got 3 kids, but I am nobody's baby mama, because being a mom and a baby mama is 2 different things. But we ain't even going to talk about that today. And we ain't going to talk about that today, because some people did. Y'all will get on here for the messiness, but you won't get on here for Jesus. But that's another conversation. But regardless, no matter what the enemy tried to tell me, you will never have a daughter. You will never have a daughter because of your attitude, because of who you are. You'll never get a daughter. Now, I ain't got a daughter yet, but I'm going to still hold on to my promise that God, me, as I continue to seek the kingdom of God and all His righteousness, that all things shall be added unto me, even if I adopt, because I am not the one that is scarce of adoption. Okay? I had 3 babies naturally. And baby, that's good enough. So if I get to that age and I adopt a baby girl, hey, hallelujah. Right? But I'm sorry, y'all. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, y'all. I know, y'all. Give me 1 second. All right. All right, y'all. So let's see where we at. Okay, it's 7:46. We on the road. But all the things that the enemy told me, I would never amount to nothing. Chase money. You're going to always be on welfare. Now, granted, did I use welfare as a resource? Absolutely. But I worked for mine. So eventually, I never qualify after a certain amount of time. But there were so many things that the enemy tried to make me believe about myself. That me walking into the worthiness that God said that I am, of this new thing, I have to unbelieve the lies that the enemy told me. And that's a process in itself. That's a process in itself. So when you're going through healing and you thinking like, oh, I'm done, I'm healed, I'm good, I'm straight. Baby, your mind going through a process in itself of unbelieving the lies that the enemy told you. That's a whole category on its own. A whole category on its own. Because in order for you to be free mentally, you must unbelieve what the enemy said and believe more into what God said. You must believe what the enemy said. I'm sorry, y'all. Give me 1 second. I told y'all I was at football practice. You must believe. Forgive me. All right, there you go. You must believe what God said instead of believing what the enemy said. And if you dealt with insecurities like I did and feeling like you was unworthy of good friendships, not even just relationships, good friendships. If you was feeling like you was unworthy of just having your own friends and you didn't feel like you had to change who you were or pretend to be somebody you wasn't. And in the midst of me believing that, and then you start believing that you're not worthy of having your own partner that loves you unconditionally like you love them, that you're not reciprocal of genuine love, that you can't be a recipient of agape love. Start believing that you're not cute, so you start alternating the way you look and your body and your face and all of those things. Just so somebody could compliment you. Just so somebody can validate you. See, other worthiness attached to validation. So when unworthiness is attached to a validation, you gotta let God validate you. So when you start unbelieving the lies of the enemy, you gotta start letting God validate you. You gotta start letting God pour into you. You gotta start letting God you gotta start allowing for him to tell you you're beautiful. And look in the mirror and say, I'm beautiful. To look in the mirror to say, I'm worthy. To look in the mirror to say, I'm worthy of love. Unconditional love. I'm worthy of God's love. Because because he loved me, he gave up his only son. I ain't even willing to do that. And I got 3 of them. I'll be obedient. But like sacrifice my son completely? Oh no. We have to move down that journey of healing. We got to go down our own valley. Each and every person. And we must, as we walk down that valley, we must be willing to do it with God. Sometimes it's just going to be God and you. Sometimes it'll be God, you, and a friend. I know me and my best friend, we've been friends for like the last 15 years, and we have been by each other's side in seasons of healing, and then we have not been by each other's sides, and then we just been rolling with God. And that's okay. That is okay. So now that we're at the end of the video, and I told y'all we're going live every Wednesday. So every Wednesday I'm going to have something for you. Every Wednesday we're going over a topic. Whatever topic is on there, we're going to go over that topic. I don't care if nobody gets on this live, and it's just me. The main purpose and the main reason most of my videos are really for me. To remind me when I feel down. To remind me of what God said. And I want to share that with y'all. I want to share that with the world because I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for him. I wouldn't be able to tell you if it wasn't for him. So in the comments, I want you to type, what does healing really look like for you in this season? Or in this next season, if you're coming out of a season and you're going into a season. What does healing really look like for you in this next season? And then, whatever questions y'all have, if you got questions like, well, how do you really know? Or whatever the questions is, questions are enabled on this live. So you can ask the questions and I'll see it. And then we can go over it. And then the next live, next week on Wednesday, we'll go over it. Now, I got to get out the car now, y'all. Team Mom didn't ask us to come over there and get stuff. So I'm about to get out the car. I'm going to keep drinking my water. I pray that Replay Squad, y'all blessed. Real Squad, I pray that y'all blessed. And share it with anybody who you think needs to hear it. I don't even care if it's a piece of it. Share it. Share it, like it, comment, engage, because this is necessary. This is necessary in this season. All right. Well, that was it. This was Let's Talk About It. Real talk, real God, and real healing. We're not stepstoning no more. It's time to cross over. We can no longer allow for the enemy to use the same weapons it's been using for centuries to hold us back. It's time to move forward. Love y'all. Bye.